Welcome to the First and Inches podcast, where every play counts and every take hits hard. Right. David is repping the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. George bleeds black and gold for Steeler Nation, and AP is still waiting on the Vikings to show up in February. We're breaking down the biggest stories in football, baseball, and anything in between. We're calling it like we see it, and no fan base is safe. Touchdown! This is the First and Inches podcast.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the First and Inches podcast. I am Jorge.
I am Hooks.
AP, what up, everybody?
Why are you guys so tall? What is happening here?
Myself shorter.
Yeah, try that. Man, good to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't have to have some of the conversations we're going to have today, but that's how football goes. So let's talk about the results from this past weekend. First, let's get that out of the way.
Well, my prediction about being an AFC championship game was wrong. Boy, but I don't think it was for lack of anything CJ Stroud did. What up, Hooks? What you got?
Love this sign. It's one of my favorite days of the year when the Steelers
For those
are
that
eliminated.
can't see it, the sign says, "Even God hates the Steelers." Hashtag fact.
Well, CJ Stroud tried like hell to get them to the Steelers to win. So what was your take of the game?
Well, I mean, I thought that CJ Stroud was going to be a problem because we weren't going to get to him. I think there was a strip sack that turned into a fumble. That was pretty good. But other than that, it wasn't an effective pass rush. We were inconsistent at stopping the run. So, that allowed CJ Stroud to be able to run a complete offense as opposed to, have to rely on passing plays and be more predictable. So it's what it is. I think that it went just like I thought it would.
So I couldn't imagine them going out that way with, interception returns for touchdowns. And, obviously Houston lost Collins and that should have given the Steelers a little bit of better opportunity, but they went back to Christian Kirk, who hadn't been a thing for years. So enough punishment of having to talk about your Steelers.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to do this every year.
On to baseball season.
Yep.
We do get to, do this more often than we should. And we're going to talk about some of the consequences of that later on. But let's talk about what we expect this week and going forward in the playoffs. So right now, we see the Bills going to Denver, playing the Broncos. I don't think at the beginning of the year, any of us thought the Broncos would be the number one seed. Did you?
Not at all.
No,
and I think
actually,
go ahead. Sorry, Hooks.
I was just going to say I have them as the worst number one seed of recent memory. Like, I just can't tell you of another worse number one seed.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like that's a collective, what everybody believes in. They will believes the same thing, that they're a pretender, not a true number one. But you know what? I said it. I thought, I was a big fan of Bo Nix. I think he takes the Bills. I think he takes the Bills this weekend.
So all that just to say that the Bills are still going to lose in Denver. Okay.
So
the worst
I think
number
the Bills
ones.
have holes. They lost a couple more wide receivers this week to ACLs. But, man, playoff Josh is different than regular season Josh. I mean, he does not mind running down the field, taking a hit. He's going to take off when he can. And as much as I don't want the Bills to win the Super Bowl, I think they're winning this game.
Yeah. You think it's a pretty straight, easy win? Or you think it's going to be
What do you think, Jorge?
Listen, I think that Josh is running out of magic. So he's due for a normal game. They could have lost that last game. It was only because his last drive and he's just, wait, I hear some feedback. It was his last drive where he just forgets that he's just a normal football player. He just takes over the game. He can't keep doing that week after week after week. Only Mahomes can do that.
I think that there's a lifespan on running quarterbacks, and that's when we talk about the Ravens later. I mean, that lifespan of a quarterback being able to just run up and take the hits. I mean, I think it's limited.
Yeah.
But I think he's willing to do whatever it takes this time around. Maybe next year, the year after, he can't do that. But right now, I mean, the Bills win.
Are you surprised he's been as healthy as he has been over the years, considering how he plays?
Oh, 100%. Him, Lamar Jackson. You know, I mean, Mahomes runs, but Mahomes doesn't run like that. Mahomes runs to continue playing. These guys just put their head down and go. And I don't think, like I said, long term, he's not. He's going to be a lot less valuable, just like every running back in the NFL. They're less valuable the more hits that they take.
Yeah.
And I think he's willing to take him. And I do not want them to. I do not. I know too many people that are Bills fans, and I do not want them to win. And I know a bunch of people that are Denver fans, and I definitely don't want them to win. If both of them could lose, that would be great.
Well, you know, Josh Allen, I think part of it is he's such a big guy. His body could absorb those kind of hits, you know, more so than a guy like a pretty thin guy like Lamar Jackson is, you know? So I think that's in his favor in terms of like a sustainment of that kind of career.
I know some people can't see you, but are you standing up? What is happening? You're like,
Me?
yeah, your head is almost coming out of the frame.
No.
Why are you so high?
Why are you guys so low?
Move it. Listen, I picked Broncos over Bills. Next game, 49ers Seahawks. I think, you know, my prediction of obviously the Jags, that's out the window. I'm picking the Seahawks to go all the way. And not just because, you know, I think they're the best team, but I think they are the most deserving.
The most well-rounded, too. They've got a
great absolutely.
Yeah.
The 49ers have taken some massive hits on injuries, including just losing Kittle. But I mean, is Warner coming back? I don't know if he is or not, you know, but I won't say anything else about this game except for this is Sam Darnold has a chance for redemption of going 14-3 in Minnesota last year and going 14-3 again. There's only been 2 quarterbacks that have gone 14-3, and like he's got his chance at redemption. And man, as much as I don't want the Bills and the Broncos to win, I want the Seahawks to win. I want that for football.
Yeah.
You want that so it can hurt the Vikings fans, huh?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Something about the 49ers and something about Darnold. I'm going to take, not to be contrarian, I'm still going to take the 49ers, though. And I'm not doing that out of spite or anger. Maybe there's a little bit there. But no, I'm going to say the 49ers.
Lame. All right, y'all have man crushes on.
Hold on. But I did hear on a podcast earlier, they were talking about, can you imagine the front office and can you imagine the fans if the Seahawks win the Super Bowl and Darnold's MVP?
Well, you know,
I won't be
the
happy.
future is not now, and the Vikings are looking to the future.
Mhm.
They didn't want to win now. They want to win in the future.
Yeah. They don't want to win, period.
All right, Texans, Patriots. Your little man crush on Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are picking the Patriots.
Yeah, with the way C.J. Stroud played last week, trying to get Aaron Rodgers to the AFC Championship game for me, I don't think he's going to outclass Drake May. I think this is going to be a horror show. I think the Patriots easily cook the Texans.
So it's a matchup of 2 defenses. The defenses are both really good, really strong. No Collins for the Texans, I think is going to hurt. They're going to have to go to their rookies. They're a group of rookies and players from Iowa State, the wide receiver group. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't want to sound like I'm in love with New England, but I got a buddy coming in this weekend for the just to hang out this weekend, and he's a big New England fan. So I'm cheering for New England to win this game.
I think we all are too. I mean, I don't think the Texans have what it takes to go into New England and come out with a win. Stranger things have happened, but we'll see. Rams and Bears. Listen, I just hate, you know, at the beginning of the season, I was talking about how people were sleeping on the Bears, right? And they keep just giving them enough slack, and they surprise everybody. Come out with the number 2 seed. Now people have to go to Chicago these 2 rounds. Last week, the biggest comeback and I think in their, you know, playoff history, they scored 25 in the fourth quarter. It's just ridiculous. As much as the Packers just fell apart at the end, I think you have to give the Bears credit for doing what they did.
Yeah, you know, the Bears are funny like that. You know, their defense, like we've all talked about, you know, is pretty putrid, but that team, something seems special about that. And, you know, the Rams coming there, it's going to be colder than what they're used to. You know, and the Rams, you know, you're talking about the MVP and who I predicted or had my vote for MVP. I don't know, man. I don't see how this is a straight up like easy game for the Rams. And I know I've been kind of, waffling, being taking the underdog, but I think the Bears, honestly. I think the Bears, everything seems to be in their favor this year. So I'm taking the Bears.
So, yeah, the comebacks. I mean, like Denver and the Bears have had so many comebacks this year.
Mm-hmm.
Is Stafford okay? Because obviously with Puka and Adams and Kyron, they've got all the firepower, but I think it's going to be blowing like 20 to 30 miles an hour,
Right.
which could affect the passing game. And I know it's supposed to be 0 to -5-degree wind chills.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a perfect storm for the Bears.
I don't buy that crap. Like, all these guys have all played football their whole lives. They've all played in cold weather. It's not like the Bears play every game in sub-zero temperature and the Rams don't up until now. So I think it's going to be a disadvantage to both teams equally. Maybe that little, psychology behind it where you might think we have an advantage, and maybe that gives the Bears to play better, a little bit better than the visiting team. Maybe it's just because they're at home, they play better. But I don't think that just because it's cold and this team plays in LA in a dome, they can't go in there and play their brand of football.
Well, Stafford has played in a dome for his entire career. I know he played up in the NFC North, so he did play out there. I know.
So what? Caleb Williams has been in USC in Southern California, Oklahoma before that.
Well, it's not just Caleb, though. It's the whole team and everything, the whole, what my kids say, aura. So I don't know. I think I see what you're saying, Jorge, but it's a real thing. The weather, it's a documented, trackable. So I just think that is, well, they got cold weather quarterbacks, right? I mean, they talk about it. Aaron Rodgers, there's winners, and we've seen games where guys have fallen apart. They can't handle the cold. So I think this is what I'm saying, that this perfect storm for the Bears.
Well, if the Bears win, is not because Caleb Williams is a better cold weather quarterback. Maybe it's because he can run better
not a cold
in general.
Quarterback.
So, yeah.
What was it, McVay? Did y'all see that deal I sent? McVay has 15 playoff wins, and all 15 of them are against different teams.
That's impressive.
That's pretty crazy. I think the Bears are a new one to add to his list. So, all right. So, top head coaching jobs. I'll let either one of y'all go first. Let's talk about the 3 best in your opinion.
So, for me, the number 1 spot is the Baltimore Ravens. I think we're going to have some overlap here, Hooks. The Baltimore Ravens, you've got 2-time, should be 3-time MVP and Lamar Jackson. And I think where they had I think the most of the problem was the internal problem between Harbaugh and Jackson. And, I watched an interview with the owner, and they asked him, had Zach Luke not missed that kick, how long would have the job? And he said, 1 week. So pretty savage response. And I think that's telling that there was a lot of internal issues. I think they get the right guy in there, and I think that they could shore up that defense. I was reading a little bit about their defensive coordinators, pretty impressive history. Zach Orr, he's been with the Ravens for a long time. He's a young coach too. So I think you make a couple of changes on the fringes, if you will, a healthy Lamar Jackson. This is the number 1 vacancy position, and they can go in right away and with going out, whoever takes his job with a winning team, Super Bowl caliber team.
I don't know about top coaching jobs. I'll tell you what the best coaching job is, but the criteria about what the best coaching job is, it's not about who's the quarterback today, because we're talking about your future as a head coach in the league and what the organization can provide you as a platform in terms of resources, in terms of everything that encompasses what a job is. If you want to say the job with the best quarterback, okay, that's one thing. That's not the best job. In my opinion, Pittsburgh Steelers, by far, the best job in NFL football.
Break it down. Why is that, though?
Well, hold on.
Well, there's a reason why we've only had 3 coaches since 1970, right?
So it's a culture thing, right? Yeah.
It is. It absolutely is. Do you want, you can, like, if you were to go get a new job, you can go get a job that pays you the most. You can go get a job that will give you the shiniest benefits, or you can get a job that will provide for your family for many years to come, most security, and then overall, as a whole, will provide the best environment for you, right? That is Pittsburgh Steelers. That is the organization, the culture of winning. I mean, 9-8 is still winning. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
But 20 years for him. I mean, if you go into Baltimore and you don't win in 3 years, 4 years, and Lamar is gone, and then you're struggling with the turnstiles of quarterback like the Vikings are you going to be there for a long time? No, Harbaugh made it work, and Harbaugh had good quarterbacks throughout the years that he developed, but he made that job great for himself. The organization right now is not the best job for somebody else, in my opinion. What do I know? I had the same coach for 20 years.
So real quick, the Ravens are not the best job because Lamar Jackson is heading towards his age 30 year. And I'm going to tell you, he is a running back that is only successful because they have to put an extra person in the box to take care of him and keep him in the pocket.
I couldn't disagree more.
He's 4 years away from being out of the league.
Oh.
And the Steelers and the Steelers right here, there's a reason why it's not the best job. It's because even God hates the Steelers.
Even God. Yeah.
So even without a quarterback, we have the best job.
The best. Okay, I will tell you, if you just want to go feel safe and secure and finish 10-7 or 9-8, that's the place for you.
Oh, okay. Let's look back and see how many Super Bowls. Throw the Patriots away. That doesn't count. But how many Super Bowls the Steelers as an organization have won in the last 70 years, 50 years, 55 years, right? Like your success with the Chiefs has only come the last few years since Mahomes has been there. As an organization, you've had trash for many years before that. The Steelers have 6 rings. You wish you could have 6 rings. Maybe one day, by then we might be at 10. But as an organization, the Steelers are the example in what other organizations are trying to achieve.
Culturally speaking.
So my best job is the Giants. Yeah. And the reason I say the Giants is because they are stacked at skill position with Dart, Scattaboo, Neighbors. They've got draft picks. That defense is good. They just need direction. And I think that they're going to go after and get the guy from the Packers, the defensive coordinator there, Jeff Hafley. And I'll tell you, they're in a division that the Cowboys are getting old, the Eagles are getting old, and even though Washington has some young guys, their whole core is old. The Giants, like 2 years from now, the Giants could be winning AFC East or the NFC East.
So you're saying the Giants are the easiest job?
They have the most talent.
Exactly. So you're going to show up and you have all the talent you need, and then just let them play. And they might just need a little bit more out of you to be able to get to the next level than their last coach, who was trash. But you're telling me they have the most tools, so that's the easiest job. It's like if I'm going to go do construction and I'm building a roof and I got all the tools to put the roof up, that's going to be the easier job than if I show up with no tools at all, like the Steelers, right? So easier job doesn't mean it's the best job.
I can tell you the worst job, so I don't think any of us can make that. And that is, as Chris Berman would say,
no, I disagree with you there.
Well, here we go. There's no way. Going back
Arizona is the worst job, but we're not going to waste time talking about that. But go ahead, tell us why it's the worst job.
Well, I'll lean into my podcast partner here, Jorge. Culturally speaking, there is no worse culture than the Raiders. It will never be a better team. It will never be a winning team. How many games did they win? 2 this year? 3? They are so far behind. There's no hope. Seriously, there will never be hope. And it's in a horrible city that's going to be a major distraction. I think anybody that takes that job is in for severe disappointment. So, and that's an organization that just doesn't win.
I know you have to agree with that, Mr. Hooks.
Yeah, I do. But I mean, like when I say, hey, you got the first pick, they have some talent. They have with Bowers and Gente and Crosby. They've got some talent. But if you're listening to your Raiders fan, this has been bad since Al Davis was there, and Mark Davis and his bowl cut haircut just keep plugging along, thinking that they're going to do something. But
there's no hope, none,
zero hope.
All right. What's another job you like, Jorge?
I mean, I do like Miami. I think that you give a new coach some time to develop a quarterback, but I think that they have the the draft capital and the opportunity to build a good team in the next 3-4 years. So I think that's a decent job down there in Miami and South.
Yeah, people want to be in South Beach too. I mean, the players want to go down there because the weather is fantastic. No state taxes. The nightlife is fantastic. I saw that the leading candidate, according to ESPN, was Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator.
Really?
Can you imagine?
That
Don Shula?
could be something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
You have another one you like?
Yeah,
Adam,
I like the Falcons. I think that
Yeah.
they've got a lot of good pieces too. You don't know. It doesn't look like Penix is going to be a guy or the guy, but they also have Cousins, who I'm a crusader for. Cousins Crusader. But they've got, they got probably the best running back maybe in the league. Young guy. They got awesome wide receivers. Drake London being one of them. They got a pretty decent defense. So, I think there's a lot of hope going against the Raiders there for the Falcons. And I think that they could be a pretty good fit for the right guy. Maybe even, but hopefully not Brian Flores.
No. So the only job that I'm seeing Flores up or listed for is the Ravens now at this point. And the one that they're saying on Atlanta right now is Harbaugh.
I can see that.
That'd be a pretty good fit.
Yeah.
Harbaugh's a manager. He doesn't run the offense. He doesn't run the defense. He hires people to do that stuff.
And I bet
Nothing wrong with that.
I bet Cousins is our starting quarterback with Harbaugh.
Yeah. So, all right. What about baseball?
All right.
How are there still free agents?
Man, I'm so ready for baseball season to start.
I know.
Yeah. It's I can't tell you. It's just right around the corner too. I think I'll be honest, it is bizarre, but once that first domino falls I think that then you'll see a cascading effect of more guys and more guys and more guys once Kyle Tucker signs, which I do think he's going to get the long-term deal, not this 3-year deal that the Mets are linked to. 3 years, $140 million. Would you like that?
I mean, yeah, but then why did we give Soto such a big contract, but now we won't do it to other guys? And then if you think about it, they're looking at it as a business. The players are, the Boras effect. But why can't the owners also look at it as a business? I'll give you an example. Like I read Bo Bichette is looking for a long-term, 9-year deal with the Phillies with annual averaging $40 million a year. But he has, according to the reports, some opt-outs at 4 and 6 years. So if I'm the Phillies, I'm looking at it as a 4-year contract unless you perform, 6-year unless you're performing, right? If you're performing after 6 years, I'll go the full 9. That's fine. In 6 years, that $40 million is going to be cheap anyway. But if you're not performing by year 3, maybe do some things as an organization to make you opt out. How about that?
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. I will tell you about Suarez signed today with the Red Sox, which is very bizarre what they've done there, trading Devers, then letting Bregman walk. But it's pretty telling when a guy like Suarez signs for 5 years, $130 million. I mean, that is a massive. Well, we saw it with Dylan Cease earlier this offseason, who is a way better pitcher. But still, those are some big numbers to be thrown around. Guys that are not number ones and not number twos. That is middle of the rotation starter. And what's really, in my opinion, pretty wild that they're leveraging so much of their capital to these guys when most starting pitchers, they're not throwing 160, more than 170 innings a year, right? This is starting pitching. I saw a stat earlier. Greg Maddux in 2000 I forget the year. I forget the year, but anyway, 1999. He threw 144 innings through 19 starts at the All-Star break. And he had 6 complete games. You take the last 6 Cy Young winners, you add up all their complete games, and he has more than them in their Cy Young winning season. This whole thing to me, what I'm long about way, is that these are massive contracts to pay for guys that are just going to get you 150, 160, 70 innings, and they're not even number ones.
Yeah. Are we going to see any more Hall of Fame pitchers ever? Is the criteria going to change?
They're going to have to change the criteria because the game is just not built for these guys to go longer than 5 or 6 innings, right? I mean, it's all about those metrics. Once it hits that third time through the lineup, they're saying that they don't want them. I mean, bring in the relief pitcher. And with the rosters expanding another to 26, you're carrying an extra reliever. there's no issues with it, right? You're not really tiring out your bullpen with that extra guy.
So you remember last week we talked about, I was doing a baseball camp with the Texas Rangers, and our coaching staff, there were, I think, 4 former pitchers. So we had Jeff Russell, Fergie Jenkins, Kobe Lewis, trying to think who else, Darren Oliver. The stories, man, their stories were great. They all, even Pete Cavilla said that they could fill the team right now of old schoolers like that and be any team in baseball today, just because players today are just soft. I know you're laughing. You think everybody's Otani and the metrics and the strength and the speed and blah, blah, blah.
No, I agree with you.
Let me tell you something. Let me show you something. Fergie Jenkins, Hall of Famer, former Cubs and Ranger pitcher, 1968 through 308 innings. In 1969, 311. 1970, 313 innings. 1971, 325. 1974, 328 innings in a year. These guys today, I don't know what it is. They get paid way too much for what they produce.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that any pitcher's worth $50 million a year when you can throw in the next best option for half the price, and you may be going to get 3 or 4 less wins a year. Like, are 3 or 4 less wins worth, or 3 or 4 more wins worth that much more money? No, absolutely not. Especially when you're pitching 120, 85 if you're a Dodger, but 120, 130, 150 innings a year, a whole year. Right. It's ridiculous.
I totally agree, because the best ability, as cliche as it sounds, is availability. And that doesn't mean just being on the roster. That means being available to play. Greg Maddux, at age 42, his last year, played for Hooks' Dodgers and the Padres. He threw 194 innings. That is something that I can't fathom a starting pitcher throwing that many anymore. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying it's the starting pitcher's fault. It's the game's fault. And you allocate so much to these guys. Again, 135 years. And maybe that would be fair if Suarez was an ace. He's nothing close to an ace.
Yeah, it's that's almost as bad as giving a running back the biggest contract in the NFL.
So
makes no sense.
All right. So I honestly think we could do a whole podcast on.
Well, let's do it then.
Shit. Y'all are disgusting. I'm the old dude on this group. AP's not even close to 50. Jorge's not even 50.
I'll be 50 this year.
Yeah. But you guys are like, oh my God. Okay. Listen, old guys, guess what we had back in the 80s and 90s is we had one guy in the bullpen that could throw the ball 95 miles an hour. And now we have the whole bullpen is full of guys that can throw the ball 100 miles an hour. And so the difference is the difference between Maddux and the bottom 5 relievers in his bullpen was massive. The difference between a starter nowadays and the bullpen, they're not as good 5 innings in as that bullpen is. And there's nothing you can do. If whoever said that they could beat the type of teams, you know what? There's how many? 30 MLB teams?
Yeah, 30.
And 30. If the other way was better, guess what we'd be doing? There'd be teams doing it the other way.
Well, I think my biggest issue is the amount of money these starters are getting and how much that ties up resources that can't further develop the team. So my whole deal is if you're going to get paid that, you got to show up for it, not just throwing 30, again, 5 innings. Even if you are dominant, you need to show up for it and let it, or that elsewhere. I mean, otherwise you could spend more money to get a better hitter, or maybe that pay Kyle Tucker that big deal, right? And all that. Because the Dodgers, it's not a real world for you though, Hooks. Because the Dodgers have unlimited funds, so they're able to, they don't need to worry about that. See, if the Reds, if they didn't have such young starting developed pitching, there would be. I mean, they're not a playoff team. That was what carried them, because they don't have the funds to even come close to that. And I would take 4 Reds pitchers over Suarez right now, and that's with non-bias. I mean, that's a legitimate fact.
Hey, Suarez is the one that crossed up as catcher after he waved him off.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know if that
was
was
guy in Houston.
Valdez.
Oh, that was Valdez.
Yeah.
Has he signed yet?
Yeah.
He's a punk.
Yeah.
So, which means he'll probably end up in New York. New York is about to build a team of players I hate. Just like I hated out the Padres of 3 years ago the most, the Mets are trying to do that now to me. Now, listen, just because your bullpen can throw harder, I don't care how fast you throw a ball for. The bullpens nowadays are not effective. So let's be honest. And just because they can all throw hard doesn't mean that you can be average and bow out after 5 innings every start. That's ridiculous. They need to do better, especially if they're going to demand that kind of money.
Yeah, a whole show about you old dudes and me being the person that understands analytics.
Listen, we're not alone. We're not alone. I was in a clubhouse full of old dudes that play this game at the highest level, and they'll agree with us. AP.
Oh, yeah, no, you can see them all over TikTok and social media platforms saying baseball players, all they do is try to hit home runs. And it's like they would play baseball the way you guys liked it back in the days when y'all were little kids.
Ripping darts in the dugout.
But they don't do that anymore. Yeah. Let's smoke in the dugout. So hold on. I got my chump of the week. I don't know if you guys have a chump of the week.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay. So my chump of the week. So we're 27 days to pitchers and catchers report and 73 days to opening day. So we're getting close. So the Jets, the New York Jets are my chump of the week. What a clown show. Dante Moore, who was projected to go to them as the number 2 pick, has decided to go back to college instead of going to the Jets. There is not another quarterback. Ty Simpson from Alabama, who was getting ready to lose his job, is the only other quarterback that's even listed in the first round. The Jets are getting ready to have to go through a season of signing somebody in the offseason and to be their starter because they don't have faith in the people that they're there. But man, if I was a Jets fan, like when you were talking about the Raiders, those Jets fans have got to feel the same pain.
Speaking of, real quick, whatever happened to Mark Sanchez? Didn't he stab some guy, some delivery driver?
Ooh, I hadn't seen that.
He cut him up
I knew that happened, but I hadn't seen any updates.
I forgot. Like he got messed up too, but they come to find out he instigated or started it. I don't remember. The kind of story kind of went away. But that's a really good point, Hooks. They are.
If he recovered, maybe they can call him back.
I got a buddy of mine who's a Mets and a Jets fan. Oh, I feel so bad for him.
Somebody asked me that. I was at the Knicks game in Phoenix, and the guy at the gate thing says, "Are you a Knicks fan? I'm a Knicks fan too. I'm a Jets fan. Are you a Jets fan too?" I'm like, no. Knicks is enough misery for me.
Yeah.
My chump of the week is that old man that just went back to the NFL to cash a paycheck. He had no heart. He showed no resiliency, and his skills are diminished. He just wanted to look pretty and make some money. Aaron Rodgers, maybe he could go to the Jets this year, retire and unretire back to the Jets.
That's a good one. You know, I've spoke about momentum. It's everything, especially in football. My chump of the week is CJ Stroud. That's going to carry that whole play is going to carry itself into a big fat L this weekend. Otherwise, I think if he would have played like he belonged there, because he was doing everything he could to put Aaron Rodgers over the top. CJ Stroud, tighten up.
All right. We'll see how the playoffs iron out or pan out this weekend. It should be interesting. We have how many more weeks? 3 weeks till the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny. Y'all ready for Bad Bunny?
Controversial Bad Bunny.
Make sure your wife's okay with you watching, guys, because it's on Valentine's Day this year.
What day is that?
14th, February 14th.
The Super Bowl?
Yep.
It's not on Sunday?
Yeah.
Wait.
Sunday the 14th.
No, that's no way, because that's when Daytona 500 is. The Super Bowl and Daytona 15th.
Monday's the Daytona 500.
No, Daytona 500 is a Sunday.
I can tell you that the
when
Super Bowl's on the 14th.
Is the Super Bowl? There's no way it can be that far ahead. February 8th. What are you talking about, you fool? Super Bowl is February the 8th. So the Sunday before Daytona 500.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was wrong.
Is this what happens when your team is not in the playoffs? You're just like, don't even care.
He's checked out. He's never experienced this before.
Somebody else is ready for baseball season. All right, guys. Well, good talking to you. To our listeners, you look for us, man. Find us on your favorite podcast app. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram. Talk to us. Interact with us. We're going to tell you how wrong you are. Until then, you guys have any final thoughts?
No.
All right.
No, be safe.
Super Bowl is February 8th. Bye, Bunny, baby. Until then, see y'all.
Peace.